Prager U came out with another dumb fuck video full of dumb fuck talking points, and they're dumb and gay. Fuck Prager U. This is another anti-trans propaganda video, so let's hear it.
Chemical castration, sterilization, and physical mutilation of children and young adults, anyone under the legal age of consent, my guess is that you would consider me a crazy person, a monster, or worse.
So all of what you just said are all fucking dumbass, bad faith, misframings of what gender affirming care is. So yeah, I'll get into those. She'll break them down further, and I'll get into them as she, you know.
But that's exactly what activists, medical professionals, and progressives who promote and defend gender-affirming care do advocate. The problem for these gender ideologues, of course, is while it is possible to identify as anything, it is not possible for a man to be a woman or a woman to be a man. To obscure this fact, activists have made...
Really dumb. Gender and sex are not the same thing. Like, they're not. Her argument hinges on this idea that gender and sex are, like, inherently the same exact thing, and you can't separate them at all. If you're a woman, all you have to do is just identify as one. That's all it takes, really. And being a man and woman is purely is unique to humans. It is. Why do you say that, Twisty? Very simple. Very easy answer to that, right? Have any of y'all looked at a dog or a cow and called that a man? No, you haven't, right? But you do refer to them as male or female, don't you? Because that's what they are. They're just animals. They don't have a concept of gender and gender roles. See, the thing is, even everyone, we all understand this. But conservatives want to pretend that they don't. They do. Because I will ask any conservative, have you ever referred to a dog or a cat or what have you as a man or a woman? They'll tell you no. 100% they'll tell you no. Because they're not. They're not human. Humans don't have animals don't have a concept of gender. They don't. What they are is just their reproductive roles, which is male and female. Gender just refers to social characteristics, and your personal identity is nothing more than just that. And only humans really can have that concept. No one else. No other creature has this concept. That's exactly how you know that gender and sex are different. And any conservative that tells you otherwise is in denial, because they already know it. They don't consider it, really.
Manufactured a small dictionary of sweet-sounding terms like transgender, gender fluidity, and non-binary. Gender-affirming care is the phrase activists have coined to describe sex change treatments, such as puberty blockers, hormonal injections, and double mastectomies. Shockingly, children's hospitals are big players in this game. The Boston Children's Hospital's website has posted videos in which its doctors describe a full menu of medical treatments, including hysterectomies for gender-confused teens. The Gender Clinic at the Barbara Bush Children's Hospital in Maine offers instructions to boys on how to tuck their boy parts to make them look more like girl parts.
I need to understand how that is a, can someone explain to me what the problem with that is? Like, it's only teaching them how to feel more comfortable in their bodies, essentially, and how they present and everything. Why the fuck is that bad? Seriously. I don't get it. Because the way they're framing it as this, like, horrible thing, but I don't... What does that do, exactly? What does teaching the tuck method actually do to children? I'm drawing blanks here. I got nothing.
Yale University's Pediatric Gender Program Director has said she's medically assisted children as young as 3 years old on their gender journey.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt
gender journey. They're
University
not
Medical Center
performing
has assessed
like
gender
any
care to be a
medical
new
things
profit
whatsoever.
center. One of its doctors explained why. Attempting to change someone's sex creates a permanent patient. Knowing patients will have to return for repeated treatments.
This is look at this fucking framing right here. Their image of all trans women is like all like really buff dudes with 5 o'clock shadows wearing dresses and skirts and wigs. That's literally what all trans women are to them. Obviously, like a blatant lie and misrepresentation of what most trans women are. Have you seen like if you just go on Twitter and just look at like so many trans women taking pictures of themselves, a lot of them look pretty damn convincing, and I've never seen a single trans woman like maybe if there's actually a few, like a very small minority of trans women that have like 5 o'clock shadows. I can't believe I have to talk about that. There's only a small number of them that have that, but like it's not really an issue necessarily because there are cis women that have like cis women shave, right? Yeah, I know, revolutionary, but they do. It's crazy. But yeah, what was she saying earlier about the fuck? It creates a permanent patient. Yes, technically, but that's a problem with capitalism, which is why I believe in socialized healthcare. So yeah, thanks, man. They're framing it as like this whole thing where it's just like the predatory nature of like of the medical industry is only unique to trans people and nothing else. Whereas broadly, the medical industry is predatory, especially in America to begin with, because of capitalism. I don't think anything in relation to medicine or health should be commoditized and be privatized and gate kept behind wealth, just in general. So yeah, thanks, Comrade. You believe in socialized healthcare. Thank you.
Is a guaranteed moneymaker. Even the American Academy of Pediatrics has endorsed the medical and chemical treatment of gender confused children. When some members asked for a more critical look at affirmative care, they were immediately shut down, accused of being transphobic. The Pediatrics Academy did.
Goddamn, I think I looked into this one. She's oversimplifying what actually happened. It was literally just it was literally just a letter. Hold on, I should be able to find it. Here it is. Here's the letter. All right, here we go. Dear Attorney General Garland, on behalf of the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, and the Children's Hospital Association, collectively representing more than 27 yeah, bleh, 20 yeah, 270,000 physicians and more than 220 children's hospitals across the country, we write to urge you to investigate the organizations, individuals, and entities coordinating, provoking, and carrying out bomb threats and threats of personal violence against children's hospitals and physicians across the U.S. From Boston to Akron to Nashville to Seattle, children's hospitals, academic health systems, and physicians are being targeted and threatened for providing evidence-based health care. These attacks have not only made it difficult and dangerous for institutions and practices to provide this care, they have also disrupted many other services to families seeking care. In one hospital, a new mother was prevented from being with her preterm infant because the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit was on lockdown due to a bomb threat. Children's hospitals across the nation have substantially increased security in addition to working with local and federal law enforcement, both on their main hospital campuses as well as across their what the fuck ambulatory delivery sites in order to ensure the safety of patients, families, and medical staff who work there, in addition to some providers who have nearly 24/7 security. Children's hospitals and their medical staffs continue to face increased threats via social media. They're talking about led to TikTok, including to their personal accounts, coupled with harassing emails, phone calls, protesters at healthcare sites. There is elevated and justifiable fear among families, patients, and staff. These coordinated attacks threaten Yeah, threaten federally protected rights to health care for patients and their families. These attacks are rooted in an intentional campaign of disinformation. They're talking about libs at TikTok and Matt Walsh. What was I? Where a few high-profile users on social media, the people I mentioned, are false and misleading information targeting individual physicians and hospitals, resulting in rapid escalation of threats, harassment, and disruption of care across multiple jurisdictions. Our organizations have called on technology companies to do more to prevent this practice on digital platforms. And we now urge your office to take swift action to investigate and prosecute all organizations, individuals, and entities responsible. Attacks against healthcare institutions that threaten violence, intimidation, and physical harm have left hospitals, staff, and their communities shaken. Providers of evidence-based health affirming, gender affirming healthcare and their colleagues are facing increased stress and fear on top of the conditions they have faced while working on the front lines of global pandemic for nearly 3 years. Families seeking care of these institutions, what? As well as our those yeah, that's a typo. Those providing their health care to the personal safety of the wake in the wake of these attacks. So what they're basically talking about here is they're just speaking out against stochastic terrorism. Like people like Libs of TikTok and Matt Walsh and all these like very large prominent right wing figures going on massive campaigns against all of these children's hospitals who provide gender affirming care for young trans people. That's it. Literally asking people to stop. They're literally asking to crack down on these people that are harming people. Like even within a letter, there are people that have nothing to do with like trans issues, with trans like children whatsoever, that are being negatively impacted by these massive fucking campaigns against children hospitals. So how does she frame this again exactly?
Immediately shut down, accused of being transphobic. The Pediatrics Academy
I didn't go back far enough.
guaranteed moneymaker. Even the American Academy of Pediatrics has endorsed the medical and chemical treatment of gender-confused children. When some
Gender
members asked for a
confused.
more critical
All right, gender confused is fucking. It is a blatant lie because. Oh wait, this is simply because for the most part, trans teens and children know what their gender identity is. The only people that are confused are the parents because they just simply don't get it. They don't get it. When a child says, "I'm a woman" or "I'm a girl" or whatever, they're just saying they identify as a girl. They're not saying they don't know what genitals they have. They're not saying they don't have like a penis or like whatever chromosome. They don't even know what their chromosomes is. So let's not like get into that. They already know what genitalia they have. They're just talking about their own like personal identity. It's nothing more than just that. And that confuses the parents, not the children. And of course, it confuses conservatives too because they really think that that's what children think, which is not the case at all. Really dumb.
look at affirmative care, they were immediately shut down, accused of being transphobic. The Pediatrics Academy did not stop there. It teamed up with the American Medical Association and the Children's Hospital Association
Yeah, this
to
is what she's
petition the
talking about
Justice
here.
Department to suppress anyone on social media who opposes their pro-gender treatment position. While the American
Yeah,
medical
it was
establishment
just a letter against fucking Matt Walsh and them, literally calling for essentially calling for violence against children hospitals and negatively impacting people. I did pre-watch a little bit of this, which is why I got into that. I thought she was talking about that because my ADHD brain kind of tuned out a little bit, and when she mentioned the pediatrics and what have you, I was like, oh, she's talking about this now. So I just went into that whole thing. So yeah, I kind of pretty much did the rebuttal before she talked about this. So yeah, whoopsie daisy, whoopsie daisy. I didn't finish the whole video though, so let's see the rest.
Speeds toward the affirmative care cliff. Other countries are hitting the brakes. The United Kingdom has shuttered its state-run Tavistock Gender Identity Clinic, which was the largest pediatric gender clinic in the world, after a report found that its patients were at considerable risk due to its unquestioning affirmative approach.
The
A
fuck does
more
that?
accurate
What?
description for this approach would be medical malpractice. In no other part of the medical world is it considered acceptable or even legal to damage the body of a healthy person irreversibly. If a mentally
What the fuck does You see, because like when they say that, they're talking about everything, and like all of these, everything like around gender affirming care, there are multiple different things that gender affirming care encapsulates. Because gender affirming care is vaginoplasty, it's puberty blockers for younger people, um, mastectomies even, which is not always just gender affirming. Mastectomies are performed for a number of different reasons, and conservatives don't have a problem with that simply because it's not trans related, because they just hate trans people. Um, there's what kind of plastic surgeries, even gender affirming plastic surgeries, which I personally don't think are that necessary, to be honest. There's estrogen, HRT, and which also isn't always used for gender affirming reasons at all. Conservatives are just against it when it comes to trans people because they just hate trans people. Um, Breast reduction surgeries also performed outside of just gender affirming, but again, conservatives don't care because it's not translated. Her framing all of this shit like being damaging is dishonest because these procedures are used for a multitude of different reasons, and we don't consider that like damaging the body. We don't. Hell, even vaginoplasty is used on cis women and for other reasons. I forget what those reasons are. I have to look up the reasons, like why a cis woman would get vaginoplasty. It's probably something like related to certain health conditions and whatnot. Um, Especially when we get into like vaginoplasty, which is a very delicate, long procedure that it's a very detailed procedure. It's not an easy procedure. Like it's very strategic. It's just strategic reconstruction of your genitalia basically, and it works. It really works. It's not damaging at all. It actually works. But you know, conservative dishonesty, the narrative doesn't work unless you frame it all as horrible destruction of the human body. Is fucking dishonest.
ill man who identifies as an amputee asks a doctor to amputate his perfectly functioning arm to match his identity, every self-respecting surgeon will send him away.
This is fucking retarded. Wanting to remove your limbs? Who wants to do that? Are there instances of where people want to get their limbs removed? I highly doubt there are. What the fuck? Hold on. No, let me see. There probably are, and it's like, no, I don't even want to bother. It's probably like what, two people that want to get their limbs removed? I send them to a hospital, I guess. What the fuck? God damn it. That person, this hypothetical person seriously needs help. Can you tell me what part of gender affirming care is disabling you? Because you can still function as a normal human being after getting gender affirming care. Nothing fundamentally changes about you other than the structure of your body. And people change and restructure their body for all different reasons. Like biological males get breast reduction surgery for, you know, gender affirming reasons, literally. Are we gonna say that that's destroying their perfect body? No. Are we gonna compare that to being a trans amputee? The fuck? This is such a bad faith argument, dude. Like seriously, that doesn't fucking what? It doesn't mean anything. It really does. It just doesn't mean anything. It's just a bad faith argument to try and shit on trans people and making dumb fuck comparisons and coming up with dumbass fucking hypotheticals that may or may not play out in real life. Maybe.
A young girl suffering from anorexia walks into a hospital and asks for liposuction. No one in their right mind would grant her request.
No. No. Isn't anorexia like an actual delusional thing? It's like they just have like really their body image doesn't line up with what is in reality. Because gender dysphoria means you know what your body looks like. So again, this is also a bad faith argument because if I remember correctly, gender dysphoria, not anorexia, is a delusion. Like you think you're overweight when you're not, and like making yourself even skinnier. Well, you just literally can't make yourself. If you're like really thin, then can't make yourself thinner. That's just. Wait, hold on. Let me be. No, I don't want to talk on my ass here. Hold on. So I checked and I read up a little bit. It seems I was half correct because it's not like inherently delusional. I mean, it can be delusional. I believe it's on a spectrum. Like it mostly just boils down to it like being an irrational fear, where like you're like so cripplingly terrified of becoming fat, where you're just like, God damn it, how the fuck did I screw that up? You're so irrationally afraid of like becoming overweight that you undereat essentially. I mean, I really don't think anorexic people. God damn it. I don't think anorexic people would would really go for that surgery, really, because I'm pretty sure they'd know what their body shape is. They just have an irrational fear of their body becoming bigger than they wanted to. Even and I have read that there are some cases where they do like overestimate what their body shape actually is. So it's I don't know, it's complicated. It's still a bad faith argument though because this is not what being trans really is anyway. Because again, trans people are 110% aware of what their body is. They just want their body to change, take a different form. And there's nothing really wrong with that. People want their body, plenty of people want to change their body shape. Like, this is a valid thing. There's nothing wrong with that. People only have a problem when you're a biological male and you want to take a female shape or form. And that's somehow inherently wrong because fuck you, I guess. Fuck you, trannies. You're bad. It makes me uncomfortable.
And that's because physicians swear an oath to do no harm, to preserve and protect and heal a person's body as best as they can, in spite of any delusions the person may be experiencing.
Being trans is
And
not
yet
delusional.
doctors violate
Okay,
that oath.
now I know she's being dishonest here. Because now she literally is saying that being trans is a delusional thing. Like if we're again, I will keep on saying this over and over and over again. If we're delusional, then that means we think that our body is actually different from what our biological makeup is actually different from what it is in reality, which is not the case at all. Gender dysphoria literally hinges on the awareness of what our body looks like. Boy, oh fuck, god damn it.
Oath every time they promote gender affirming care. Their motives, no matter how compassionate they might sound, are not relevant. The idea that teenagers, let alone small children, are capable of making such life altering decisions is not only brand new, it's absurd. A society.
We let children make life altering decisions. What the fuck is so life altering about that's so special about life about being trans that makes it so like bad for it to be like quote and it's really not even that life altering because like when it comes to trans kids what it boils down to is just how the fuck okay it just boils down to a different name which is not biological there's nothing there's nothing medical about that different pronouns also linguistic not biological whatsoever so that's not really life altering unless you want to say that having names and pronouns is somehow psychologically damaging to children. Yeah, please make that make sense though. God damn it, my brain. You see, when it comes to trans children, like the main medical thing that will happen is they will be on puberty blockers, which they actually needed to be need to be confirmed via therapy whether or not this person actually is gender dysphoric. Yeah, gender dysphoric. So they're not gonna like easily get access to puberty blockers unless they're confirmed to have legitimate gender dysphoria. And once you go off the puberty blockers, you'll continue puberty as normal, like nothing happens really. After you go off the puberty blockers, your puberty continues and it catches up with where it was supposed to be if you had never gone on the puberty blockers to begin with anyway. So yeah, that's not life altering. So what is it? A child wearing a dress? Are you trying to tell me that articles of clothing is life altering? Like if a biological male decides to wear a dress, is that so life altering to the point where it's harmful to children? It's not. Because if you're gonna say that's life altering, then wearing trousers is life altering to biological males as well. And it actually is to biological males who are trans. How the fuck? Oh, I did one. Yeah, that is definitely life altering to trans women. Sorry. Young trans girls who are forced to conform to gender norms based on the genitals that they were born with. Yeah, very life altering to be forced to well embrace masculinity like God intended, I guess. Very life altering a decision that parents are making for this poor trans teen. Well, not teen, for this poor trans child.
That allows them to do so is deeply broken. So, how do we put an end to this horror? First, we need to stop going along with the language games gender ideologues want us to play. There are men and women and boys.
So you're against knowledge on language and linguistics. Okay, got it.
And girls. And there are men and women and boys and girls who are confused or deluded about which one they are. There
Again, piss poor framing of what gender dysphoria is. She wants to make she wants to sell this idea that trans people are just inherently mentally ill for the crime of wanting to change your body and changing your name. Wow. Wow, it's so bad. Oh my god, they want to change their names. Oh no, pronouns. Ooh, so scary. How delusional of you to have pronouns.
is no such thing as having a place on a gender spectrum. With the rarest exceptions, we are born one of two sexes, male or female.
Or multiple different possible things in between male and female. Sorry, there's individual sexual characteristics that are distributed based on your chromosomes, and it's not always going to pan out the way they're quote supposed to. Because sorry, intersex people exist. If you want to pretend that they don't, then I'm sorry that you're stupid and wrong.
Sex is not assigned, it is an integral part of
No
who
one's
we are,
assigning
right
sex.
from the
Gender is
moment of
assigned.
conception.
Jesus Christ.
This is true for horses, dolphins, and every other species in
Okay,
the animal
question.
kingdom.
Like, if an intersex person is born, like, what gender do you assign them then? Seriously, what gender do you assign them? Conservatives would have to concede and to concede that non-binary people would have to exist. If you're gonna be a biological essentialist, then you're gonna have to concede that being non-binary is valid. You just have to. Period. Because intersex people, if you really want to go there and you want to have a biological essentialist view of gender, then you're just gonna have to concede that non-binary people exist. Biologically non-binary, essentially. Being intersex, I'm sorry, that's what you're just gonna have to concede that.
It is also true for human beings. There is no such thing as gender affirming care. You cannot affirm something that does not exist. What does exist
She's
is
right.
chemical.
She's actually right. Gender does exist, but you know what? It's a thing that we recognize in society, and we've recognized for in every literal civilization. Gender takes different forms depending on which society you look at. When you look at Native Americans, they recognize like 4 different genders. Indians recognize 3 different genders. Gender takes different forms, shapes, and sizes, and different fucking what word was I looking for? Different interpretations depending on which culture that you're looking at. That's just the reality we live in. If you don't believe me, then you don't care about history, or you don't really care about learning things. I'll put it that way. So recognizing that gender is a thing that exists and we can get care that affirms people's gender, which cis people can do because again, males get breast reduction surgery and that's literally just simply gender affirming. It makes them feel comfortable in their masculinity because having breasts is a feminine thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to get breast reduction surgery, then there's nothing wrong with that. Changing your body is not bad. It just isn't. People change their body for all kinds of different reasons.
Castration, sterilization, and surgical mutilation. Second, we need legal accountability. Patients who have undergone physical and medical gender treatments as minors should be able to sue the doctors and hospitals who performed the treatments. The risk
Why?
of serious financial
To
liability.
what end? Because again, the majority of people who started transitioning even at a young age, the usual cases that they're happy, the detransitioners are in the minority, and suing them, it's just bad faith, and it only does nothing but harm potential trans people who are looking to get this care and will inevitably be happy with the gender affirming care that they get. And usually the people that detransition anyway do it because they're because it's transition is expensive. That's a socialized healthcare issue. Has nothing to do with trans people.
Will bring this barbarism to an end faster than 100 protests. This is a battle that we must win, not least because there is an entire generation of boys and girls being made to believe that irreversibly changing their bodies will fix the social and emotional anxieties they experience.
It doesn't fix it. It treats the it's mainly a treatment, and it helps them feel comfortable, which has been demonstrably proven. Like it's always been the case that trans people feel comfortable after transitioning. Just generally speaking, they just feel comfortable afterwards. This is ideology that they're peddling here. This is just dishonesty ideology. They don't really care about the actual statistics surrounding this. They just don't want to see trans people exist in society. That's all it is, really. It just grosses them out and makes them uncomfortable to see trans people. And if I were to press them on that, they would 100% agree. They think it's gross and weird. And it'll always come down to just that and nothing else. It's not just about they care about kids or they think it's harmful. They probably do, but they only think it's harmful because just being trans inherently is considered gross to them anyway. So like seeing a child like become something that you personally find to be gross, weird, and icky is just going to be inherently harmful to you. Even if that position isn't irrational, even if that thought process is completely irrational. That's funny. That nigga just exploded. It's just really dumb. Inherently dumb.
We must act now. Our children are counting on us, even if they don't know it. They are, after all, just children. I'm Kaylee McGee White of the Washington Examiner and Independent Women's Forum for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video. To keep Prager U videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
I hate Prager U so much. They're all full of mental retardation. All of them. They're dumb. They don't really care about the actual statistics on what gender affirming care does for people. It does for trans people. The whole like sterilization thing is a bad framing because from what I understand about this quote sterilization that comes from puberty blockers is inherent it is temporary because it doesn't last and you're not going to be on puberty blockers forever. No one's going to be on puberty blockers forever. There's obvious, very obvious medical complications that can come from that. Damn it, these bandits. Because sooner or later you're gonna have to go off of them, and when you do go off of them, your puberty continues. It just does. There's nothing proving that there's any like real lasting effects. Like the only lasting effect that I know of that's actually like that can actually be considered as a serious problem is bone density, and that always gets counterattacked by going on HRT anyway. So yeah, and if an unfortunate detransitioner or cis person has to go on HRT, then that sucks, and that means we need to improve how we go about gender affirming care, which is just how science works. We don't need to destroy it. We just need to fucking improve how we go about processing who's our vetting process needs to improve even. That doesn't mean making it longer. Our methods for vetting who's like actually gender dysphoric or not needs to like improve because you know we're always going to see detransitioners. It's just a fact of it's just the reality that we're facing when it comes to this whole thing. But like destroying the entire thing in general will negatively affect the majority of people that are going to go on this care that are going to get gender affirming care in the long run. It'll just negatively affect trans people who aren't going to detransition. And we need more socialized healthcare because that would cut down the detransition rate by a lot. So anyway, yeah, Prager U is full of stupidity. They don't care about critical thinking. They don't care about nuance. As always, conservatives only care about simple answers to complicated issues. So there you have it. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.